So we just got back from Jess's fourth session on the water, and I thought it would be useful for her to give me some honest feedback about exactly what I could do better, what I did well as a coach. So I was coaching from the bow seat of this double, and so we just went out and yeah, so what do you think?
I think the positives were usually only giving me something to focus on, one thing at a time, and then giving me positive reinforcement on the strokes that I did well doing that. The things that I probably didn't like were when I was like starting to get into a bit of a pattern and getting things done, you would just out of the blue say a comment and that would throw me off quite a lot, and then I would do something terrible and then get frustrated, and yeah.
It's probably that temptation to, once you've got something right or you're going well, to give you something else. So it's probably best to resist that for at least 10 or 20 strokes.
Or wait for like a natural break, or when the athlete needs to have a rest, and be like, okay, during that little section you did this really well, now for the next section let's focus on this, rather than necessarily interrupting them. I think it's just important when you're a beginner, because you've got so many things going through your mind at once, and for me, I'm finding getting the technique of the stroke down is quite mentally fatiguing, and so I'm thinking quite hard, and then I get this intruding voice behind me say something, and then all of a sudden the whole pattern just explodes, and it doesn't work very well for me, I guess. Yeah, I think it was good getting you to join in rowing a bit, but it shows you where you are not doing very well, I guess. Obviously,
Everything's a bit quicker, and
yeah, not being able to time the catch well with you, because my catch is essentially bad or slow, or not quite right. And for me, the hardest part of the stroke is getting that catch right. Coming down the slide is fine. It's just squaring those blades up, not over squaring them, and getting them in the water. That part for me is the hardest to kind of get down, and where I'm most mentally fatigued. And then once the blades are in the water, the push and the finish, all of that is fine. It's just the getting the blades in the water that I really struggle with.
And you found that your bow side was a lot more problematic than your stroke
Yes.
side. So it was pretty much every time you missed the water or caught a crab or something, it was on the bow side, not the stroke side. It's like you could almost forget about the stroke side. I just seemed to be doing it naturally.
Mentally, I definitely was forgetting about the stroke side. I am right-handed, and so I think that naturally that side of my body is picking up the movement quite a bit quicker than the bow side. And so one of the useful things you got me to do was to actually focus on that left hand, that bow side, and actually watch that bow side as I was getting the blade in the water, as I was feathering it, doing the catch, and that helped quite a lot. As you pointed out, I was missing quite a lot less strokes once I was actually looking at that bow, and even though I was looking at the bow, the stroke side still seemed to be doing what it was supposed to be doing. So yeah, clearly that's something that as I'm learning, I just need to keep focusing on that bow side.
Yeah, at one point you said when we were rowing both together, you've much preferred rowing by yourself in a double, but the combined weight, my weight compared with the boat, would mean that you're rowing the equivalent of an 8. So there's a lot more resistance, but you said it was a lot more pleasant to row with.
I naturally find it easier to row with the extra weight, and I guess it's getting me to feel that connection, so that when I have the extra weight on, I can actually tell when I get the catch right and when I perform the stroke right, I guess. Without the weight, or when you joined in rowing, I couldn't tell whether I was doing a good job, because a lot of the weight was getting taken up by you, I guess, essentially. So I actually did find it a lot easier to row with that weight there, which probably isn't something that you want to do long term, but yeah, I find it helpful.
But you found it much easier to concentrate on your stroke when the boat was moving a bit slower. There was a lot more weight in the handles. And
it helped me feel the kind of hanging off the oars once the blades were in, so not going too early with the arms. It made me have to engage my core more to keep my back like straight or flat, not hunched over. That the weight reminds you of that, because if you don't do it, you can feel you're not doing it. So yeah, the weight for me is actually helpful in kind of getting that stroke down right.
I think there was a couple of strokes too where you're like, oh, what happened there? And you sort of got really heavy all of a sudden, but I think you just got connected well. So like, you know, you actually taking a well-connected stroke as opposed to one where your blades weren't quite hooked on properly to start with.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
You know, the boat picks up speed, and yeah, it does feel heavy, especially when you're rowing by yourself when you get it right.
Which is not something I expected. I expected that the better I got, the lighter the boat was going to feel, but it was quite the opposite. There was a lot more grab for me to push with my legs, and you know,
you feel like you're actually doing some work as opposed to spinning your wheels.
Yeah, this is the first time we've gone out in the boat, and I actually started to, you know, feel my heart rate go up, start to feel a bit fatigued, butt starting to get sore and stiff. So I knew to some extent that I was actually rowing, not just going through the movement patterns, but actually putting a little bit of power into the stroke.
Yeah.